Yo, welcome back to Just Kicking It. I go by Polo Show, and I'm with the homie
Soy.
And here, we're just here to talk some hip-hop. So just so y'all know, we are YYC MCs. We are artists first, we make music. You guys should check out our music. Our artist name is Polo Show, and that gentleman there is Soy. So without further ado, let's get into the hip-hop discussions. So in the global world of hip-hop, Donald Trump, before leaving office, pardons Lil Wayne and Kodak Black, among many others, by the way. Like I saw there were like 150 pardons, something like that. When you got criminal ties, you gotta do a lot of favors for people on your last day. But yeah, what do you think of this, bro?
First of all, I'm very happy that Kodak Black is going to be out of jail, because the reason he's in jail is like he's serving like a really long sentence, and I think it's super unnecessary for the charges that he had. So I'm glad, and I think they were just trying to make an example out of him. And I think it was really unfair the way they treated him. What he was doing was stupid, but I don't think he deserved. I'm pretty sure he was like, now I think I'm lying, but I think it was like 15 years or something. Like it was some dumb shit.
I don't know exactly what it was, but yeah, it was some crazy shit. What I saw recently is that he got commuted, which means like what that does is like if you're currently serving time, like it'll just stop your time, you can come out, whatever. But like he also has like in some other state, he also still has like a sexual assault charge.
What?
Yeah, so exactly. So he literally got relieved of the current sentence he was doing, but it's like there's another state that's like, oh, you're out early. Fine, we can prosecute you now.
Man. Well, if it's a sexual assault,
what he would have needed was a pardon.
Yeah.
Because the pardons are the one that like blanket whatever your legal woes are right now, as far as it's like a federal thing.
Yeah.
We'll get rid of it. But yeah, so the commute was just his current time, which, I guess it's better than nothing, man. You come out and fight the next one. Because the way it is right now, he would have done the 15 years and probably come out and had to still do this.
Right.
So this is still best case scenario, Yeah. Not everyone's getting pardons. Bobby Shmurda is still in prison.
Well, didn't he kill a guy?
I don't know, man, but I don't think so, man. I think his situation was that he was just like snitching on all his like, he didn't snitch, but he was just like, I think in his one song that my homie got a body about a week ago. And so that one is like hit song. He was just snitching, like he was just saying all this stuff that ended up indicting like a lot of his friends, like Rowdy Rebel, who just came out. I think he was part of that issue as well. So yeah, I bring him up because like, hip hop is definitely like rooting for him. He went down because like I think they just said like to give up his people and he didn't.
Sorry, dude. I just heard my cat scream bloody murder.
Oh, good. But yeah. What was I just saying?
You were talking about Bobby Shmurda.
Right. He just snitched on his people. He didn't snitch on his people. In the song, he snitched on his people. They kind of took him to court, and then he had the opportunity to snitch on his people to like shorten his time or get off free, and he didn't. I think he took the max time, because he wasn't willing to snitch. And so that's why a lot of people like were bringing him up when the 6ix9ine shit was going down. And so when 6ix9ine got released like last year because of COVID-19, it was like, yo, why don't they release fucking Bobby then? But still no. And then recently, like end of the year, we thought he was going to come out, but the parole board said like, they don't think he's ready. And then, now we're seeing rappers getting pardoned and this dude is still not pardoned. I just bring it up. It's like, damn, he's probably like watching all this, like my time will come. But yeah, so what do you make of this, man? What do you make of this that Lil Wayne and Kodak got pardoned? Why did they get pardoned?
Oh, it was definitely like, because I saw the video of like the other people that were pardoned, and like you said, it was like 140, 150 people, and they're all just like, the reason that they're like in trouble is from like really messed up stuff that they did. And so there's definitely like it was a veil. So they're like, hey, look, here's your two of your favorite rappers. They're not going to be in prison anymore. Here, they're like, pay attention to this. Yeah. And then so that he could do the other stuff. But I mean, yeah, I didn't even realize. I knew that Wayne was like in a situation like that, but I didn't realize it was so serious that he was actually. Well, I guess we did talk about it, but I'm glad he's not. Even though it was some dumb shit that he shouldn't be doing because he's a grown ass man. Like he's acting like he's like 12 years old. Not 12, but like he's acting like a 20-year-old with the shit he's doing. So just like, man, he needs to surround himself with better people or something. Like the shit is, he shouldn't have to deal with this at this age. He should just be living his best life and, you know, actually enjoying his life instead of being stressed about, oh, now I got to sell Nicki and Drake's masters so I don't go to prison. You know, It's just like,
I don't think that's why he did it. Like, I think that was just like that was like at the end of the negotiation with Universal, that was just an option, you know, so that Lil Wayne gets
okay.
I don't think that's related, but I saw in the comment, like, people said, like, when on Hot New Hip Hop, when it was posted, like, yo, Trump is pardoning Lil Wayne, the comment was like, yo, Wayne was playing chess, not checkers. And I said this to you, man, when it came out that, like, when that tweet came out with Lil Wayne, you know, in a picture with Donald Trump smiling, saying shit like, yo, I looked at his plan. He really is gonna. He actually, you know, he said something along those lines. I think you really should try to hear him out. He's really gonna do something for the Black community or something like that. Bro, now we know that all that was a phone call from Trump saying, like, yo, I need some Black rappers to support me in these last days of the campaign. And Lil Wayne's like, you still doing pardons?
Yeah.
that's how that went, yo. I just knew. I said it then. I was like, man, I've known Lil Wayne for so long. You know what I mean? Like, this guy doesn't give a fuck about politics. You know, there has to be some other agenda. And at the time, I just chucked it off to, okay, maybe he was like losing money, and like Trump just gave him the bag. But then I found out about the Universal deal, so he's not hurting for cash. He got like $100 million from that.
Right.
So this was strategic, bro. This was from the jump. Lil Wayne was like, bro, my image is gonna be hurt if I take this fucking picture with you. And Trump is like, you want that pardon or not? that's how that shit went. The Kodak Black thing. I actually saw I think it was like Lil Yachty not too long ago, like tweeted like, yo, free like Lil Wayne, like, hey, Trump, pardon Lil Wayne and pardon Kodak Black. These are my friends, like, you know, they've been wrongly done, blah, blah, blah. And it's funny that these are the two people that got pardoned. And there's no doubt that that's what this is, right? It's a blanket, right? Because I hate Trump. You know what I mean? But when I saw that, Trump is pardoning Lil Wayne, it kind of made me be like, Trump's not that bad. You know, for that split second where I thought about that. and then I was like, nah, that's exactly what he wanted. This fucker. So yeah, that's exactly what it was. It's like and you look at all the other people that got pardoned, and it's all like, you know, a lot of them are for like tax fraud, like just a lot of just straight up like rich white friends, you know what I mean? That just had to be like, hey buddy,
I got you, bro. Don't worry. Like,
can you swing me a pardon before you stop at the golf club? Like, you know, so.
That's so weird that a president just has the ability to just be like, all right, you were a rapist, now you are not.
The thing I saw the document that had everything, and it looks like he has to give like reasons behind it. So when I saw like Dwayne Carter, they write the legal name, it was like, yo, Lil Wayne was wrongly blah, blah, blah. And he has shown that he's a way maker for people around him. He's a provider for his family, blah, blah, blah. So for the most part, there has to be some thought that goes into it. You know what I mean? You can't just say like, rapist number 5 out of this state, pardoned. You know, you can't just have a rapist living on your block again. Like, it doesn't notify anybody because, like, yo, the president.
Trump 2020.
So yeah, I think it was definitely done properly, but yeah, or what's the word I'm looking for? Professionally, or
Yeah.
But it was a veil for sure. I agree with you. This is like 150 people, and only 2 of them are rappers. That we know that Trump doesn't listen to.
You might listen to some Wayne. I think everyone's heard Wayne.
I don't know, man.
Hasn't everyone on Earth heard of Millie? I think so.
I guess, but I mean, we really put that on Trump to be like, yo, name a Lil Wayne song? And he's gonna be like, yo, a Millie? No.
I wouldn't make any bets, but
no.
I don't know. I'm just trying to see the bright side. It could just be like I don't know. It's like it's a good thing. I do hope that the Kodak Black sexual assault charges aren't real, because that would make me lose a lot of respect for him. That shit is not cool. Anything that has to do with like harming women or like children or anything, I kind of just pretty much just don't fuck with you. Like, you could be my best friend in the world, but if I found out that you like are beating your wife or something, like, I don't like you anymore. You know what I mean? There's no, even if it was my brother, I'd be like, bro, like, you're a piece of shit. Like, so I hope it's not, hope it's just some chick accusing him of some stuff that's not real, and he can fight these charges and actually prove his case and not have to suffer the consequences of something that may or may not have happened.
I don't know the situation with the sexual assault one, but yeah, hopefully that's not the case. But I remember one time, like, Ebro, do you remember that? There was an interview with Kodak Black, and so this is not a new thing. Like, I think this is the same case, right? Like, Ebro tried to ask him, and in his defense, it was just a weird transition from what they were talking about, I think, and he was just like, yo, so you currently got a sexual assault case going on right now, so what's the deal with that? And Kodak was like, I think he was like, yo, I told you guys before I came here I didn't want to talk about that, and Ebro was like, yo, what are we talking about it now, blah blah blah, and Kodak's like, well, I'm gone if you want to keep pressing me about it, and Ebro's like, I'm not gonna stop. So he just like, it was one of those like Birdman moments. He just like got up and left.
Ebro is, I don't know, sometimes those guys at Hot 97 are not, I don't think they have a very good grasp on reality and how people, I just think they can be very unprofessional sometimes. Like, if I go into an interview and they tell me that they're not going to talk about a certain subject and then they bring it up, like, that would make me mad too. Like,
that's exactly. But again, in the situation, just like you're saying, though, it is kind of like if you're a wanted killer, but you're a famous rapper, and you come on, you're like, yo, you want to come on my show? You want to come on the podcast? And we're like, yeah, sure. And you're like, yo, boy, don't talk to me about the case or about this killing or whatever. When you come on, you know what I mean? Just out of like the moral obligation that we have, right? We have to be like, yo, you know what I mean? So I kind of see that. You know what I mean?
You see their sign.
Yeah, exactly. They could have gone about it better, right? They can be assholes, but for sure, it's just kind of like if you raped a woman or whatever the sexual assault is, we're not just gonna come and you're gonna just talk hip hop with me for like 2 hours and then go, because then I'm complicit. You know what I mean? Like, people are like,
right. I need to know you're not guilty. Yeah,
exactly. So I can see where they're coming from, but at the same time, yeah, they definitely have a way that they can be disrespectful. I was gonna say with Kodak as well. Like, I remember when Nipsey had passed, right? Shortly after, and he was on live and he'd made like some comments or something towards like Lauryn Hill. Do you remember this?
Do you mean Laura London?
Right, Laura London, my bad. Who's Lauryn Hill? Right, Lauryn Hill's, that's a legend. But yeah, Lauryn London. Yeah, he said something like along the lines of just making a pass at her, and this was like shortly after Nipsey's death. So it was just like a lot of people were like, yo, this is fucked up, blah, blah, blah. I bring this up because Ebro used this as an opportunity to bring it up. It was like, yo, I remember when I had him on the show And I was asking him about his like situation about the sexual assault thing, and everyone was like, "Yo, why are you pressing him like that?" And I'm like, "Yo, this is who your favorite rapper is." You know, he was just kind of like bring it up. So, anyways, I see the two sides of it. There's definitely that professional aspect of, if I'm gonna come on the show and we've made an agreement that you're not gonna ask me questions about this particular thing, then it's like, yo, what the fuck, man? At the same time, though, it's like, you can't do this really fucked up thing and just think you're gonna come on here willy nilly and we're not gonna talk about it. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. That's fair.
So yeah, but then that goes into Kodak Black and the morals of Kodak Black and all that. But that's not what this topic is about. This topic's about, them getting pardoned and why they got pardoned. So we both agree that, Trump definitely threw out these pardons as a bonus pardon, just to blanket the many other despicable pardons that probably took place. I mean, because at the end of the day, like there was a long list, right? And people obviously just scroll down to the rappers they know, or you know what I mean? But if you actually took your time to go through that list, you probably see some people on there that's like, yo, this guy did something really, really fucked up. Why is this guy getting a pardon? Like, this guy does not deserve a pardon.
Yeah.
So it is what it is, man. At the end of the day, fuck Trump, but we love this. At the end of the day, he did this to appease the Black community or the hip hop community. And, I feel like we're all kind of like, oh, that's something nice Trump did. A lot of people are like,
it made me happy. I'm not gonna lie. I saw it and I was like, nice.
A lot of people are like, yo, I think Trump deserves a happily ever after.
After everything that's happened. You know what?
Exactly.
Fuck it.
If Lil Wayne doesn't have to go to prison, neither should Trump. That's how people are gonna see it. I think that's the psychology behind it. So it's a good thing and a bad thing, but we are celebrating it here on this podcast today because it's definitely a good thing. We were feeling bad for Lil Wayne when we heard the news of the situation, and now we're like, bro, don't have to go to jail. That's great. So on to our next topic here, the TikTok Blackout Challenge. So currently on TikTok, there's a challenge going on. I don't know the originators of the challenge, but basically my understanding of the challenge is you hang something on your neck and you see how long you can stay blacked out on video. I think that's the purpose of it.
Right.
So what do you make of this, man?
I'm not gonna say that the people that participated are idiots, because I think a lot of them were younger and they just don't really know any better. Like I remember, imagine if we were 12 and TikTok was a thing and the crux of everybody was wanting to get some fame, which I think is a sick reality that these kids have to live in, where everything is based around attention. Like I was walking in the mall, I see these kids that are like 16, 15, something like that, and they're taking photos, like these fake pictures of like these deep captions where he's standing and he's like, I'm sure the caption was like, yo, COVID got nothing on me, or something stupid and corny. But like these kids really are like about that. They want to be famous. And I think we come from a generation where we're like, sure, it'd be nice, but like, fuck, I think our generation's more about what you do. That's not true. I know a bunch of people our age that are just fucking, they're just, anyway, some people are just worse. And TikTok especially, there's a bunch of things on that app that bother me. We're being advised by Legacy to use it all the time, but every time I'm on that shit, man, it gets me depressed because I see all these people and it's just, they just want so much. They just want that attention of like, yo, like maybe I'll go viral. Oh my God. Like so much, like they're so willing to get viral that they're willing to do a fucking challenge where they hang themselves. The challenge is literally called the Blackout Challenge. So that's a matter of them almost committing suicide so that they can get a bit of fame. And you said this one girl died because she hung herself. Because someone made a fucking challenge about killing. It's just like, it's infuriating. And now, you know, we were talking earlier and I was making a joke about it. I'm like, some people just shouldn't have a platform to speak because, and it's not a matter of free speech. It's a matter of the influence being deadly to other people. So like whoever started this has to be held accountable because someone died. Right. And the reason it's a tricky thing when you talk about like censorship, because I don't believe in that stuff. I think everyone should have a voice. But at the same time, some people are so dumb, dude. And some people just do anything, like Tekashi will do anything for that fame, for that drug. And it's just ridiculous. And I know it sounds like I'm being serious. I'm trying to make light of the situation, but it is really like frustrating because
it is fucking frustrating. I have the details here. So it's her parents said she had been participating in a so-called blackout challenge on TikTok, putting a belt around her neck and holding her breath while recording herself on her phone. I'm just trying to understand the challenge. Is the challenge just to stay conscious while this is going on? Because the belt is already suffocating you. You're holding your breath, and then you have to stay conscious and video the thing. So yeah, I think I don't understand how have previous videos been successful? Like I don't but yeah. So it's Italy tells TikTok to block users after death of young girl. So basically, the government is now telling TikTok, you know, that you need to block these users. And this is a serious problem because this means that if the government did not intervene, not only is this blackout challenge still going on, but those guys are still, you know, probably reposting the best ones, still promoting it. You know what I mean? Those guys are still advocates of what's going on, even though now they have a body. You know what I mean? Oh, that they probably saw that. You know, that is no way a girl. You know what I mean? Like,
how old was she?
I don't. Let's see.
Man, some of these people on TikTok are just like the way that
girl.
10.
It's fucked.
10 years old, dude. Like that's not. If that's not a case to fucking. This shit is just like a disease, dog. Even like...
That's crazy, man. I didn't have a cell phone until I was 13. And even then, like I had to like... It was like one of those like... It wasn't a smartphone, you know what I mean? It was like one of those calculator screen phones. Like,
dude, those ass phones. Yeah, I had those too. I didn't get one until I was 16 because my parents... Like I used to text girls using my homie's phone. You'd be like texting this chick, and I'm like, yo, it's Soy. What's good? I don't have a phone, but hey.
The whole means phone for the next foreseeable future. You're talking to me.
Texting his girl. I'm glad that's not a part of my life anymore, man. I used to be all about that. Like just because I had a lot of people in my past like take my girl. And so then I went on this streak of just like, you know what? My girl is your girl. It was not good, bro. I cut that out because it started getting really dangerous where I was playing with fire. But that's a side note. But yeah, man, this TikTok shit is just like, it's really sad to see. And it's like, I wish there was more of an incentive for people to be, you know, if there was a challenge, and this is going to sound so corny, but if there was a challenge like, hey, give a homeless man like $20, like that's cool. I think that would be sick. But hanging yourself for like 5 minutes of people liking your video, you're like, oh my God, you survived. Like, come on. And some of these acts, bro, like we were talking about it earlier. Some of these TikTokers I've been watching, as these young people, and they're like doing these terrible dances, these dances that have no coordination. it's like, well, it is coordinated, but it's like, it's just ass. And they have like, they're making tons of money doing these little shitty dances.
Bro,
and it's like way that.
What were you gonna say?
I was just gonna say, like, I think the way that monetary, like, things are measured in this world is wrong. Like the fact that someone on TikTok that does this and they happen to be really attractive, and then they get all this money and they got all these sponsors because they're doing these shitty dances, is stupid. That there's like firefighters and there's like teachers and there's like these people that actually help people that are making like significantly less than, I'll be honest, these fucking Hollywood people and these like TikTokers. And it's just like, it's really just like a really fucked up world. I know I'm getting all serious, but it's just bothering me, man. I don't like it. I don't like social media, man. I think it's just so negative, and it just brings people to a place of like, it's almost like being, because let's be honest, like when you post anything you do in life, you're going to be the most critical of yourself. And so that's why I feel like people are always talking about like, oh yeah, everybody, you kind of have conversations with people. And I've noticed, bro, it seems like everyone's depressed. I think a lot of it has to do with like, you see these people that are successful on these platforms, and you think about your job and you're like, I work my ass off every day doing this hard work. Like construction, bro, is hard. That's a hard job. There's some certain construction sites I've worked at where it's the hardest work I've ever done in my life. It's exhausting. You get paid shit all. You know what I mean? And then there's people that literally just get a 7-second video, do this, and they fucking make bands. Like,
word.
You know?
I feel you. I don't know, man. It's definitely the. I'm not mad at the game for that. I'm not mad at TikTok for turning, people's talents into, making them entrepreneurs, basically. Because that's the upside of TikTok, right? Like, there have been people who 10 years ago would never have been discovered with whatever talent they have, that have huge followings just based on their talent because of TikTok, right? So yeah, I don't want to take away from TikTok because of that. But I do agree with you with the, FOMO? I think that's a huge part of people feeling depressed, is the fear of missing out, whether it might even be on any social app, right? Like, people might feel a way about their lives and they see someone else someone in their age group or something living a life that they would want to be living in their minds. And, they have to scroll through it every day. And in their minds, they're like, yo, this is, you know what I mean? That can add to depression. And then there's the fear of missing out, which I think is a big part of TikTok. Is with TikTok, it's a lot of these 10-year-olds are still in like school. They go to school every day. They see each other every day. They have kindergarten. So it's a really tight knit community with the younger generation. And basically it's, if one person starts a challenge, one 10-year-old starts a challenge. It's like, the people who started the challenge are not 10 though. They're, you can guarantee that if everyone in your class has TikTok, it's gonna go pretty fast, right? Like that's how it is. And so there's that FOMO, that fear of missing out. If your 5 of your friends in your close friend group have posted this blackout challenge and survived, and you're like, oh shit, I think I have to hop on this blackout challenge now. You know what I mean? Like, I think that's part of it. So I'm sure there's people who know better, who are just like, yo, I gotta get in on this challenge. So I don't know, man. Definitely. Why was Donald Trump trying to ban TikTok again?
I think because China.
Right, just China, right? Not for any moral reason. Like, I was gonna say.
Well, you don't know. It might be that as well. I know there's a lot of. That's the issue, man. There is a lot of good that comes out of that, because artists get discovered, and it's like, as artists ourselves, it would be really nice to put up a video on TikTok, it goes viral, and then you don't have to work your fucking 9-to-5 job ever again. That'd be incredible. And I'd be here like, thank God for TikTok. But then there's the other side where it's just like it is that fear of missing out, like you said, man. It's a real thing that I think eventually, I think our generation is going to have to be the generation to figure out the balance and figure out how we can better the lives of people around us, and how we can make people less depressed because you're not living the life of somebody else. And yeah, I think that's going to be one of the biggest challenges our generation has to face, because now we're gonna have to start being the leaders pretty soon, right? I think we're already there, where it's people are going to start looking to our generation for the answers. And as we know, when we grow up, you figure out, oh, these motherfuckers don't know shit. So we need to have some, I don't know, it's something to think about.
100%. I agree with you. Yeah, that's where I'm at on this. As an artist, as a creative, just as someone who sees technological advancements in the world, TikTok is a good thing. You know what I mean? At least for businesses, at least for creatives, at least for creators in general. But at the same time, you know, that's why we're having this topic, this discussion. It also breeds a lot of evil. You know what I mean? And what's really fucked up about this is that, again, the Italian government had to check these guys. They had to be like, that's the title of this thing. Italy tells TikTok to block users after death of young girl. So it's like the people at TikTok did not think it would be like, you'd not think to take the action and be like, oh shit, this young girl just died from this challenge started by these guys. Maybe we should do something.
Right.
You know what I mean? And that's the huge problem with social media. It's kind of like, you know, we hear about like when election fraud happened in 2016, where they said like a bunch of like Russians paid for a bunch of ads to sway the elections, and that did happen, right? But it's like they did take Facebook to the courts and, you know, say, what are you guys gonna do about this? To them, it was just like, it's everyone should be allowed to advertise on our platform, you know.
Right.
It was just kind of like they're just trying to wash their hands of it. You know what I mean? It's the same thing with this. You know, this little girl has died because of the situation. You know,
yeah.
You would think at least TikTok would make the step of, all right, ban those guys. But it's like the government has had to reach out to TikTok, and I'm sure TikTok is going to push back with like, yo, we didn't tell them to do this, or, you know, everyone should have free speech.
Which is not cool.
So, yeah,
they should be held accountable.
There needs to be some way to regulate these platforms. That's the real issue here.
There does.
Because this shit should not be happening.
They shouldn't be able to just give these fucking politicians wads of cash to keep their mouths shut. That shouldn't be. Word. Dude, did you know that the way that people get onto these platforms as president is you need money? So some of these guys are just like loaded, and they can just pay their way to get onto that platform.
Because what do you mean?
So like when you run for president, you have to have a certain number. You have to have a certain number of sponsors. That's what they call it, sponsors. But that really just means you have to have a certain amount of money.
Yep.
And so some of these people are like, they just put wads of cash. Like this one dude, I was watching a Joe Rogan podcast with this lady that I run named Tulsi Gaba or something like that. And she has like a lot of integrity. So she was talking about this, and she's basically saying how like, yeah, I was running, and then my running mate put $30 million into Facebook ads, and it bumped him up like a few points so that he could actually be on the stage talking. And so like some of these people that are like, yo, I really want to make a difference, they can't, because these politicians are in pocket. They're embedded with these major corporations and these big tech companies where they're donating money to them. And so that needs to be solved. I feel like that's a huge, that can't be the way that we. I
don't know, but that's always been the name of the game though, in politics, like from the from before there was electricity, from when Lincoln was running, that's how it was. There would be I have my campaign, you have your campaign, and if you were a millionaire before running, then that's fucking on me. You know what I mean? Like, you're gonna put a bunch of money into getting newspaper ads and advertising around the city, and all I can do is just, do my rallies. But yeah, at the end of the day, it still comes down to you having a powerful message, believing in what you have. I don't think it just comes down to the money, but I do agree with you. Yeah, it's not a good look when these corporations are just pouring money into these parties. But it's what I'm saying is it's fair. You know what I mean? It is, because if the party you wanted to win was because I the way a campaign is it's like, today I can wake up and be like, yo, I want to run for mayor of Calgary. I'm going to run against Ninshi next, I don't know what they call it, next primary or whatever. Like, I would need to educate myself if I was going to do that.
Yeah. I'm running against, who's the mayor?
But yeah, if I had like a good enough following, like, I would just reach out to everyone I know, be like, hey, I'm running against this person. I want to do so. These are the policies I have in place. I need to raise X amount of money, so that I have a fighting chance. And that's how you start your party. That's how you build supporters. That's, what I mean. That's the beginning stage of it. Same like when Donald Trump said that there was a fraud in the election. He was able to raise like 20 million from supporters to fund the what do you call it, to fund his team, right? His legal team to go and fight in every fucking state, right? They lost 61 cases, but that was paid for by Trump supporters. But that's the point I'm making, is that, once you have a cause, it's your job to get the money. So I can see what you're saying. It's fucked up that can happen, that a corporation can just give this dude $30 million so that he can be ahead. But
that's the issue,
bro.
It is, but that's the thing, is like, because they're donating this money, the politician is probably not going to push back on the thing that we're even talking about, because they're in bed with these companies. And so I think that honestly, I feel like that has to stop, where like it should honestly be the people of the country that you're running that donate, and only that, but then how do you work your way around that?
Yeah, I was going to say, but like, if I'm the head of a $1 billion corporation, I'm still a person too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's fucked. Yeah.
You can't be like, yo, the corporation can't give him 30 million anymore. Cool. The CEO will give him 30 million. I'm just,
Dude, I don't know why I thought maybe I'd have the conclusion or the answers, because I don't. Because I don't know, man. It's all messed up. Because there's such good people out there that really are about like helping people, and then these people that get into office are just the scum of the earth, and they're just shitty people, and it's because they have boatloads of money, and they're able to take these investments from these people, and it's just like, what the fuck, dude? This podcast is so serious today. I apologize. I'm just talking, but
it's all good, man. And this is a serious issue in Nigeria. Nigeria is, as you know, it's definitely improving. It's getting better, but it's a known fact that the government bodies in Nigeria are corrupt as fuck. And then that's the situation that just happened with the whole NSARS thing recently. There were peaceful protests going on, and on the Lekki Bridge, and the government just sent armed soldiers out there not to end it. There was no words exchanged, just came out and just started shooting. And there were videos, everyone had videos, that's why I was going. They had the bloody flag. People on the ground were videoing it, and the government released a statement saying it's fake news, it's all lies. So corruption is a real thing, man. And what I was gonna bring up here is the real issue with corruption in Nigeria is a lot of people say like it will be solved if a pure-hearted man, like a good person was to enter office, you know what I mean, with nothing but an agenda to just, do right. But That doesn't exist because the reality of the situation, if you enter a situation where everyone is corrupt, you're just, they're gonna corrupt you. It's unlikely that you being the single entity is going to be the antivirus for the whole administration. But yeah, corruption is a real thing, and it's definitely rooted at the powerful buying power. You can be the most pure-hearted person. You can be like, yo, I'm going to make Canada great again, whatever. You get into power, and then you get like a call from like a slithering billionaire, like, yo, so
I have money and I can put it in your pocket.
It's like, yo, you're doing 4 years in office. You're probably making $300,000 a year for those 4 years. I can make you a billionaire in a year. all you have to do is take my calls whenever I call.
Yeah. Seriously though. Anyways, yeah, man.
But yeah, it's real. It's sad, but corruption is a real thing. And yeah, man, hopefully the day will come where an incorruptible entity enters a position of power and says no.
Kanye,
but,
2024. Let's go.
Let's say, because we've used Kanye as an incorruptible entity. If Kanye was to enter office, a single man, and
most fire album of all time dropping recent. Let's just assume.
And Facebook calls him up. Let's say Facebook calls him up to say that there's currently a government policy trying to break up Facebook into Instagram, WhatsApp, all the different parts. I think that's something that's actually trying to happen right now. I think Biden's trying to do that. And Mark Zuckerberg says to Kanye, I'll give you X amount of money so that this doesn't happen. Do you think Kanye is incorruptible? Do you think Kanye will be like, fuck you, Mark Zuckerberg, you're going down?
Yep.
You think so?
Yep, I do. I think if there was, I think there are certain people that would, I think there's tons of people that would say, fuck you. I think there's people that have morals and they see the bigger picture. Some of these people I think are just weak. They're weak-willed people. And I think one thing I know about Kanye is he is not weak-minded. He is a visionary and he knows what he wants. And I think he's already a billionaire. So it's like, what is 20 million to a billion?
Greed, bro. That's the fucking solution to any, like, why do rich people do fucking greedy things, bro? Because there's never enough. But I kind of agree with you, like if I believe in, his whole like being born again, the fact that he is a family man now, he has children, you know what I mean? I can see that. But yeah, I don't know if that's real though.
Who knows? I would assume. I just look at Kanye as that dude that's he's not gonna sway his opinion on anything. Like he's gonna tell you exactly how he feels, no matter how fucked up it is, no matter how stupid it may come off sometimes. There is some sort of bravery to that level of like, fuck it. And that level of like, you know what, I'm gonna say what I want to say and I don't care what people say. Everyone cares what people say, but there's a level of like fearlessness that I see that it inspires me as well. Where in my everyday, I'm like, there's risks that I'm taking. There's risks that I've taken in life because I've seen people like Kanye, people like, just people preaching about that fearlessness. And so, yeah, I don't know.
That's a good example. I didn't think you were gonna. I don't know. When I think about it now that I know Kanye, I can see that. But yeah, I don't know. My thought is just because I'm from a fucking country like Nigeria, like no man is not corrupt.
Everyone's corrupt.
Everyone. I'll at least like even me saying all this shit. Like if Mark Zuckerberg called me up, offered me a Mark Zuckerberg check, I'm at least hear him out. At least.
You've come on here. There's nothing wrong with Facebook. Where have you been? Where have you been, Joe? Facebook is the best. Facebook.
Nah, that's real though. But yeah, What's
You got like a rollie on. I'm like, what the fuck happened? You so
in his hand. I got like all these models next to me.
yeah.
So yeah, look, I'm not gonna be breaking up Facebook anytime soon, guys. I don't know. I was up dealing with it last night, thoroughly shining on my wrist. Like, I couldn't. I don't know. I really had to battle with this one.
Yeah. The battle of like, sure.
Anyways, if you need me, guys, I'm just speeding off in my
with these O's
in this 2-seater car.
It's funny.
All right, on to our next topic. The inauguration of Joe Biden kind of ties in. Yeah, I think we both said we didn't see this inauguration. I kind of saw some clips afterwards, caught a lot of the Bernie Sanders memes.
Oh my God, they need to get that.
I thought it was
so overdone.
Funny. I saw some funny ones, but it was chill. It was a good moment. It was chill, man. Yo, I can't lie to you, bro. I cannot lie to you. Trump had me convinced this day was not going to come. I literally, he fought so hard. I thought this guy was not going to get inaugurated. You know what I mean?
Dude,
I remember, what day was it when it was the day right before the insurrection when, or was it? Was it right before? When he shows up at Georgia, right? Because the Georgia is about to have like their Senate elections, right? And they lost that, by the way. Like the Georgia voted in their first like black person to that office. So they lost again. But that night he shows up to talk to the crowd. I remember watching that video, and he's just like, he literally is there to like, support the Republican candidate and be like, yo, guys, vote for this candidate. But literally goes there within the first 5 seconds. This election was stolen from us, guys. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. We're not going to give up easy. We're going to fight. They think this is over, but it's not. And I just, so many consecutive days of that at one point I was starting to be like, yo, I don't know how Biden's going to get inaugurated. Like, Trump is convinced that he's gonna do a second term.
He got to you. Just like Trump 2020, I guess.
But for me, for someone who is not even an American, and I'm an independent thinker, I wouldn't even say I'm Republican or a Democrat. And I'm someone who called bullshit from the jump when Trump said like, yo, election fraud. He had done so many consecutive days after the election, of just preaching his bullshit that I too, you know what I mean? Like, and so I can see how like being a Trump supporter, the lie can just take a like root in your brain and become your whole world. You know what I mean?
For real. People literally like their personality is that.
There are people right now who are still like, they to them, it's like, yo, this election was stolen. I don't know why Joe Biden got elected. They'll probably contest it for the next 4 years.
Yeah.
Trump didn't show up to the inauguration.
Yeah.
Right. Pence was there. Every other president that has served before that's alive was there.
He definitely should go. That's fucked up.
It's just kind of it's just like the last. That just lets. So the way I see it though is that when the insurrection happened afterwards, that's when we started getting a lot of these guys, a lot of the Republicans that were gung ho, saying like there was a fraud, being like, all right, there needs to be a peaceful transfer of power. Even Trump came out and said on January 20th there will be a peaceful transfer of power. You know what I mean? It was that moment that made him say that. You know what I mean? But it makes me curious, like if that was able to make him see that, okay, there should be a peaceful transfer of power. I wonder if he does believe now that that Biden actually won the election fairly. You know what I mean? I'm just curious, like, what? So so this is what. So I'm just from someone who's watching this from the outside. What would make Trump, who since the election happened and Joe Biden was elected president, the president-elect, he has been contesting it, saying no, fraud, election fraud, ballots were thrown out, dead people voted twice. None of this was proven. All of his lawyers caught COVID trying to prove this. And then the insurrection happens and he's like, all right, I'll transfer. All right, I'll step down. You know what I mean? Like what about that made him step down if he still doesn't believe that Biden won?
Well, that's a good point, man. I guess maybe he just came to terms.
Because for me, and this is again, obviously it would have been very dangerous for him to do this. He did the right thing. Even though it's not the best thing he could have done, he did like the middle ground thing. But for me, if I have fucking conviction that you stole this election from me, I don't give a fuck if they burnt down the Capitol that day. I'm not gonna say there's a trend. No, they burnt down the Capitol because they were right. The election was stolen.
I see what you're saying. He didn't really well, I think that's the thing is it came down to the wire. So it was how long before the inauguration was that day? It was maybe 5 days or something.
12 days, I think. They had 10 days or something.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe he saw he saw what was happening, and I saw him talk about it, and he's basically saying hey, this is not cool. Breaking and not abiding by their law is not cool. And maybe he just saw that and he's got his white flag and he's you know what? I don't want to see this happen again. I don't like where this is going. The violence, I feel definitely probably got to him. And he's that I could, because that was never, I don't think that was ever the plan. But
Man,
people are so crazy that they just feel through.
The speech, and I was talking about the speech he gave at Georgia, now the speech he gave prior to the insurrection, where he said, I'm going to be marching with you guys. You guys cannot give up without a fight. You guys need to fight. If you don't fight, they're going to take this from us. And then Giuliani comes on over afterwards and be yo, this is trial by combat. You know what I mean?
Fuck off, man. Yeah, you're
so I don't know.
I'll fight that.
I see what you're saying. He definitely did not go up on there and say, I'm going to motivate these guys to go and cause violence at the Capitol. But at the end of the day, what was even that's what I'm saying, all through the period from Biden getting elected to inauguration, it was every speech he said is we're not gonna you. He kept saying stuff you'll see. They think they've stolen this election from us, but you'll see. We're not gonna give up without a fight. Well, I just so it came down to an actual physical fight in the end. But
right.
It's I know that maybe that was not his intention, but there was nowhere else for it to go.
Yeah, and that's why. Yeah, that's where it gets complicated because. Right. The intention wasn't to cause violence, but it's almost like you're saying, well, what else can we do? To make some noise, we kind of have to be it was almost the Black Lives Matter protests. Some of them got really violent, but at the same time, people were trying to reason with it. But it's well, the reason that we're having these is because of everything that's going on that was happening at the time. And there was almost some people were justifying it. I don't think there's ever a time where violence is the answer, but it did overshadow the actual message. And so I think this kind of did the same thing where it was okay, it led to this. Well, that didn't, because that message is still being permeated and it's actually a good one. But this is a case of it went to that level where it got violent, and then it just wasn't worth it. It wasn't worth where it was going. And I feel if he got up there and he's you know what, I'm glad you guys did this, and we need to keep doing this. That's when things would have gotten. So I think I think it's commendable to even for him to actually go up there and be you know what, I surrender.
Yo, man,
this is
there's no doubt that it was like even that speech where he was like, "Yo, like that was written." The one where he was like, "Yo, there's gonna be a peaceful transfer of power." Those weren't his words. Like he woke up the next morning and they had to give like a press briefing. Where he was like, "But
no doubt, no doubt."
I just feel like, but you see where I'm coming from though. I just feel like if you had this conviction this whole time that you didn't lose this election, you know, why let a little insurrection, you know, you waver your ground, you know, why not stand your ground? Be like, yo, that shit that went down was wrong. They shouldn't have done that, but I'm standing by what I said. This election was stolen. You know what I mean? The fact to me, the fact that that shit happened and he immediately, like the next day, he was like, all right, this is going to be a peaceful transfer of power, means there was never any basis for what he was doing.
Yep.
There was never any basis for even he knew it from the jump. You know,
Yep.
the fact that whole Georgia thing, I found out this recently. The phone call that happened, the official he was talking to was a Republican. You know, I thought it was like a Democrat, like trying to fuck him up, you know, like they recorded the phone call and they were like, oh, Trump is trying to get us. But even that literally was a Republican who he said he'd voted for Trump twice, you know, and he was just like, as much as I would love for you to be president again, Trump, I can't just pull out 11,000 votes out of my ass, bro, you know, and just let you have that, you know. So I don't know, man. I thought after the phone call, the whole world like knew, but to me, it's still crazy that there are still people who are like Trump believe that the election was stolen. After everything that's gone down, after the phone call, after the insurrection, after the fact that Trump was not willing to stand his ground and he just gave up, the fact that Trump did not show up to the inauguration, all these things, there's still people who are like, nah, Trump should be the one ruling these 4 years. You know, there's still people who are going to give Biden a hard time because of that. And that's really what's causing the division in America right now.
Well, the fact is that Biden is the president. So I feel like you just got to come to terms with that. Like that, this is now the reality. This is it. This is how it is now.
Bro, if the insurrection did not happen and Trump still had Twitter, Trump will still be tweeting that he's the president right now. And Twitter would have to put those,
I think he got it back.
Those little things at the bottom saying like, yo, this claim is being disputed. Like, this is not fact.
He's not your president. Nah, I don't know. But I think Joe Biden being president, I don't know. I hope he does. It doesn't really like affect. It doesn't really. In all reality, it is like it's just not going to affect you. Whoever president is, it's not going to affect you as much as you think. It could if the government puts more emphasis on them having more control. Then it'll affect you. But he doesn't really have that much capabilities. Like he can't really move things that much where it's going to actually affect your personal life. That's more like local stuff. So I don't know. I think this whole thing, even Trump, like I think you said it last week, even him being president got everyone kind of talking about the politics and stuff. And now we're seeing the veil be open, and we're seeing all these people that are still have been in office for 40 years, or they've been governors for years and years, and they're just fucking trash and they're like corrupt. And so now people are seeing this and it's like, okay, now people are going to start, I think our generation is going to start really vetting these people, which is, I think, something we just haven't been doing because no one gave a shit about politics. And it was there was a thing where it was like, it was taboo to even talk about, you know, like people say that where it's like, don't talk about religion and politics, whatever, like you just, but now it's open. And so now we can have discussions, civil discussions about people and be like, okay, is this person actually about this, or is he being led by some corporation? And we can see it firsthand. Like we can literally, there's nothing hidden anymore. So I think that's also like a really good thing to come out of this. And I don't know. It's interesting. I saw there was a bunch of people performing. It looked like an Illuminati gathering. Shit was crazy.
I saw a clip of a young lady who did a poem. She's like part of like a youth society that was asked to do the poem for like the inauguration. And I just saw a clip of her perform. I'll probably check out the whole thing later on, but it was really really good, really articulate. People were saying like that was definitely like one of the best performances from the event. So yeah.
I was gonna say I heard Katy Perry perform Firework and that shit slapped.
Of course, they had fireworks going on.
Dude, Katy Perry she's actually dope.
Of course.
Bro, I listened to I remember growing up, bro, and I listened to her album Teenage Dream, and I re-listened to it recently, and I was like, bro, there's some timeless records on this album.
Like pop, there's classics on there, yeah. All these is that's TGIF is on there.
Yeah, there's Fireworks,
yeah,
Teenage Dream. There's a bunch of stuff on there that I listened to, and I'm like, damn, this literally brings me back to being a kid. This is some great music. She's really dope, man. I don't really listen to her like that, but it's just hearing some older stuff. I'm like, damn. I appreciate you, Katy Perry.
100. Inside's wider than Katy Perry's faces.
That fucking whole verse, bro. That shit is so mad. This is a hip hop podcast, by the way, people. To everyone listening, we just don't have a lot to talk about. But that verse is nasty. I think that's probably one of my favorite J verses. I don't know what my favorite J verse is. That's definitely one of them. I like the
man. I remember everyone butchered him for that verse because he said cake so many times, right?
Dude, that shit was fire.
He just wasted those bars. I can kind of see what they mean by that, though.
But the play on words afterwards, where he's talking about cake, upside down cake, dude, it's and he has the whole scheme is nasty to me, and I think it was a reference to a Rihanna song. Cake, 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 cake. No, wanna whine it. No, mind it. I'ma make you my bitch. Cake, 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 cake. I think it's a Rihanna reference, but
I'm not sure. But yeah, I mean, I like the verse too. I'm just pointing out that people didn't like that verse.
I think one of my favorite verses is his verse on Diamonds.
Diamonds remix.
That's definitely that's definitely up there with one of my top J verses. And yeah, man, he's got so many good verses. There's
how'd we get here?
We're talking about Katy Perry. And then you're you brought up the line. Anyways. And I reminded people that this is a hip hop podcast.
Yeah, word. Yeah, man. So Katy Perry performed there. I saw Lady Gaga was there as well. Yeah, I think they made it an event. I think they said this is the smallest attended inauguration ever because of COVID. They had to keep the guest list short.
All the famous people didn't have to wear masks.
Yeah. I mean, they were spaced out though.
I'm just playing. I'm just being an asshole.
But yeah, it's good, man. I'm hoping this is the beginning of a new period. I remember when Biden got elected, and I was like, "Yay, let's celebrate!" and you were like, "I don't think this is over." What an understatement.
Yeah. Now it's over. Hopefully things can I think this year is going to be really great because I think, man, I think this, when we get that when we finally have to declare COVID-19, Justin Trudeau gets up there, he's like, COVID-19 is officially over. It's just going to be one big party and everyone's just going to
fucking man.
Dude, everyone's going to be doing Molly. Dude, yeah, it's going to be that weekend is going to be crazy.
It'll be like a rave day, national rave day in Canada.
Yeah, there should be a day when COVID's over, we should have a day specifically to celebrate that. That'd be sick.
That would be legit. That'd be dope. But yeah, shout out Joe Biden. We hope you make a good president. We'll see how this is. We'll be very critical of you over the next 4 years. Ashanti versus Kisha Cole. So that's the verses that kept getting postponed, from last year. Ashanti got COVID, and then she recovered. And it got postponed again for whatever reason. I think the insurrection had something to do with that. And then so they finally just did it on a Thursday night. So I sure as hell didn't see it. Yeah. And they said like this is the first one they did. Like they were both in separate rooms.
Whack.
Yeah. People like all I've seen is like comments. I didn't watch it myself, but people said like the energy wasn't really there. Like it just felt like some of the buzz had died, right? Because they kept pushing it back.
Right.
But overall, both these women are incredible songstresses. Is that right? Songstresses? Is that the plural? Songstress?
Yeah.
Sure. Are incredible vocalists. Why am I choosing to use a word I don't know how to use?
Using fake words.
But yeah, and they're obviously legends in the R&B scene. Kisha Cole for more of those ballads and heartbreak tunes, and Ashanti for more of those like pop, R&B hits. Again, I didn't see it, but I feel like Ashanti took it just because she had more of the hits. But yeah, I guess we're just bringing it up because it's hip hop. It's something that happened in the world of hip hop. I'm sure R&B heads like are happy about this, right? Like there are probably like some tunes that came up that people fucked with heavy. Did you want to add anything to this?
I didn't watch it. I don't know. I'm not a big fan. I'm not even like not a big fan of both of them. I just haven't heard their music like that. I'm sure if I heard some records that I would definitely recognize them and I'd be, oh, that's Ashanti. Oh, that's Kisha Cole. Shit. But
Ashanti had like hella records with Ja Rule, a lot of his hits.
Damn.
What's love got to do? You heard that one?
That's fire. Yeah. I sing that all the time. I didn't know that was her.
Yeah, so definitely a lot of hits. Like again, like they were an era, right? They were definitely an era, probably like that early 2000s era of R&B. And so right. I think that's what's dope about Versus is that a lot of these guys are still greats, right? But their era is not happening at the moment. So it can be easy to forget them, right? And then Versus just gives you that, for this one night, the whole culture is going to be tapped in and we're going to remember all the greatness of your era, right? That's what it's about. Because then, you find a lot of these songs people are going to be, it's almost like you just dropped a new album, right? Like a lot of these older songs people are going to be like replaying and shit. So yeah, I think Versus is just a good look overall. Glad this went down. Glad it went down safely. Yeah, looking forward to the next one.
Word.
So our last topic in the global is a fight that happened last night. Conor McGregor versus Dustin Purier. I think that's the name. Conor versus Dustin. This was the final fight of the night. The main fight. It's Conor's first time fighting in a year because of COVID, and he's just been like, I don't know. I think just because of COVID, he's just been sparring for the most part. He's not really been in the ring. And this Dustin guy has definitely frequented the ring a couple times this past year. So people are saying that he was a lot more limbered up for the fight than Conor. But with that being said, what is your reaction to the results of this fight, or what is your overall take on this fight?
I don't know. It was I didn't watch the whole thing. I was honestly in bed pretty early last night. But I saw basically the knockout, and it just made me respect fighting. It just made me want to learn how to fight because I'm not trying to get fucked up. But it was definitely like, it was almost hard to watch. Like I couldn't look away, but it was like, it's just like, damn, like he got fucked up, dude. Conor McGregor, like he's a lot of talk, but it does affect.
I feel like you have to be able to talk to be able to fight. You know what I mean? Like, definitely that's part of it. That's part of the, what is it? That's part of the entertainment aspect of it. They always do those, the conference where the two fighters are going to meet up. They face off and they'll get some trash talking off. So, that just, I guess you're ready. You're like, oh shit, I know he's
Yeah.
not gonna let him say that about his mom and not get some shit off in the ring. So yeah, like,
I saw, yeah. I don't know. I thought it was pretty cool. It did definitely. We had a conversation earlier where we're like, yeah, we need to learn how to fight. And I think that'll be something that we talk about. But I think it'd just be cool if the lifted ones were all just like capable of like taking someone down.
I'm like I told you, man. I've been this over the quarantine. I rekindled my interest in martial arts. I used to take martial arts in university, and yeah, just kind of been doing some home stuff. But like once things open up again, I definitely want to hit up a gym. And
I think I'll do boxing. I think I'll do boxing.
Yeah. I don't know. I want to do something that is overall like something that kind of like translates to MMA. I feel like what's unique about MMA is like it brings together all the styles, right?
Right.
It's mixed martial arts, whereas boxing is just one discipline. It's really just hand fighting. A trained boxer would get into a really skilled boxer would get into an MMA cage and probably lose because he's not trained with his feet or anything else. But yeah, that's how I see it. It's like I want to do something that's more like, what's the word? More like all around training.
Word.
But yeah, back to this fight. Yeah. What do you think? What do you think happened, man? I saw that they said that Conor was the dominating force in the first round, but it was just in the second round.
I don't know.
His time.
He just wasn't. He wasn't prepared as he should have been. There's been a lot of you can't really fight right now because of COVID, and so a lot of fighters can't actually practice. Like getting in the ring is very different from just sparring. And so not being able to do that consistently, where you're like fighting like once it like where you're doing like 4 fights a year or whatever, however many it is, it probably affects your game. And so it just seems like he was underprepared a bit. He definitely got like, I mean, near the end, man, when he got knocked out, he got knocked out, and he was like,
it looked like his leg got stunned. I just watched it before.
Yeah.
He started this. It looked like his one leg got like his leading leg just had taken too much damage. And because I could just see like he wasn't even able to switch his stance anymore. He was just trying to like protect that one leg, and dude just used that as an opportunity to knock him out.
Yeah, he's calculated. And he's a really great, like the other dude, what's his name?
Let's see. Dustin.
He's clearly a very skilled fighter. And I think people have been saying that guy is like deadly. But
everyone in the fucking UFC is deadly, bro.
This is true. Anyone with cauliflower ears, just don't fuck with them.
I think it's like
stand down.
if you're a trained like MMA fighter, you can't like get into like random fights at bars or something.
Because you'll kill them.
Exactly, because it's like it literally would be like, yeah, exactly. You can literally be prosecuted for murder, or if the person just gets seriously damaged or whatever, like it's just injured, it's not dead.
Yeah,
it's still you are a trained fighter, and you took advantage of the situation.
Right.
So yeah, everyone in the UFC is fucking deadly. I don't know. I saw. What were you gonna say?
Well, it's so off topic. So whatever you could finish what you're gonna say.
Oh, I just saw like this morning. That's how I knew the fight went down last night. Like, Conor McGregor did like an interview. Mm-hmm. I don't know if it was last night or this morning. He was like suited up, and it was just like the post-fight interview, and the interviewer was just asking him about the defeat and whatnot, like where to take it from, like where he's gonna take it from here, blah blah blah. Right. And yeah, he was just like he doesn't want to make any excuses and whatnot. Dude, the other dude was just, he just came with a good game. He fought a good fight. Mm-hmm. And yeah, that's what it was about. So I think that's all it is. I fuck with Conor McGregor. Again, I'm not a big like MMA watcher like that, but I mean we all know who Conor is. He's a character. He definitely has a personality that has like gone like is bigger than the UFC, right? Like he's a public figure.
Right.
So yeah, it's interesting to note that he's definitely that trash talking dude. He'll always be talking the cockiest talk in the room, and then it's interesting to see him in defeat, right? And being able to be humble, I guess. If that's kind of what I saw.
Right.
But yeah, what were you gonna say?
So did you ever watch Supernatural?
I do. I know of the show, but I don't think I watched it.
Okay. Well, those guys, the guys that play Sam and Dean, they were just talking about the bar fights. I remember hearing a story. Like they kind of know how to fight because of the show, and they're both huge. And so they got into like a bar fight, and they had to like whoop like 5 people's asses and shit. It was just like kind of like, we need to be at that level where like, if we are at a bar and they're like, yo, I fucking hate your raps. Yo, fuck you, bro. Fuck you, show, yo. And then you just pull out like some jujitsu shit, and you just like take them down. And like, we need to have those stories.
No, I feel you. That being said, man, I don't like the fucking power has gone to our head if we're in situations where 5 people are trying to fight us. Like, what kind of conflict are we in? Where it's 5 against?
And we just ready. Like,
no, that's what I'm saying. If we're ever in a situation where 5 people are trying to go against 2 people, we started that shit. That never happens. Like, that never happens. That never, like, yo, before I became a black belt, 5 people weren't trying to attack me. It's because I'm all up in here talking all this shit.
Yeah. Like,
so yeah, I think that's the dope thing with every different like style of martial art. Definitely comes like in the training is like discipline, right? Like knowing that what you're learning is for self-defense and not to go into bars and just fuck strangers.
Oh, absolutely not. I used to be that guy. I used to be like a really heavy alcoholic. So I'd go to bars, I'd be just destroyed, and I'd be just trying to pick fights with people. Probably because I was like mentally depressed and I just wanted to feel something. But yeah, dude, that's not a way to live a life. It's horrible.
Of course, yeah. Yeah, you don't want to be doing that. But with that being said, I agree that we should, as Lifted Ones crew, take up some kind of martial arts. That can be like our co-curricular activity. Cause yeah, that's just badass, man. Like, that's just dope. And then yeah, it's unfortunate for Conor McGregor. You know, I hope this doesn't taint. I hope this doesn't like, what's the word I'm looking for? I like his personality. You know, I mean, obviously he's a bit too much on the cocky side, but we need characters like this, you know, in the world. Because they motivate people. They you know, we like to see this. When he wins, it's a good feeling for us all, you know. And so, this being his first knockout of his career, I'm hoping he comes back like stronger. Like he comes back like, you know, what?
Very well. He'll definitely be training. I could see a round 2.
Yeah, exactly. I think of course he wants a round 2. Like, yeah, I think he beat this guy already. This is
for real?
Second fight. Yeah, this was their second fight.
Oh, well then we got to have a final boss.
The way I see it though is like in fighting, it's just kind of like if I'm the dude that just beat Conor, why would I do a third fight when I just won the last fight? You know, I'm trying to get to the next level. You know what I mean? This fight was for both of them to fight like the next higher up person, right? So they can get to the belt. So it would literally be like a step backwards for this dude to fight Conor again anytime soon.
That's fucked.
So yeah, it was. I mean, that's why every fight is important, right? Like he should have won this fight. Every fight is important. But yeah, so I hope he comes back stronger. Congratulations to this Dustin dude. Looks like, you know, it's definitely a good look, you know, to be the dude that knocked out Conor. And I hope this inspires us, you know, when the restrictions are lifted to fucking take up some kind of martial art.
Absolutely.
But yeah, that concludes our global today.
All right. For national news, we got some, I think, good news. Recently, I was calling my grandma, and she told me like how everyone at her old folks' home is going to be getting the vaccine here pretty soon.
Awesome.
And I know in Canada that they're giving it to first responders and to the elderly first, which I think is great. I think that's exactly the people that need it. And so I think that's awesome. If it was the other way around, I'd be like, what the fuck? Like I need to make sure my grandma's cool. That's my grandma. That's the homie. But yeah, so kind of just like asking like, are you going to be taking this vaccine? Do you see a reason not to take it? And when do you think it'll be ready for consumption?
I kind of need to know what vaccine I'm taking. Need to confirm that, I saw like Joe Biden took his vaccine on camera. I saw like, I think all the presidents, Obama and them, they're about to take their own vaccine. I'm going to take the vaccine for sure because I would like my life to return back to normal. I have all these other things, things I want to do, like, join a gym and whatnot. Just return, do shows, right? Like, exactly. Just so we can just return back to like a normal life. The reason why I would not take it is, just because I don't know much about it, right? So what I've said is I need to know that someone is taking it, someone that I know has taken it and done 3 months, has survived 3 months after taking it. Then, because that's 90 days, then I'd be willing to.
I don't want no I Am Legend shit.
Yes. I'll be willing to do it as well. So, I mean, they already started taking it in the UK. Like they started the rollout like a month ago or so. So
Word.
They're getting pretty close to the 90-day mark here. If the UK population is in fucking zero in 2 months, and we know that the vaccine is good. Another thing I was gonna say is that there's many vaccines, right? Like there's Moderna, there's Pfizer, and there's all these other ones coming out. So that's why I'm saying like, I need to know that the vaccine I'm getting is the one that whoever I'm watching to do 3 months is the same one that he got. You know what I mean? Because that's what we're hearing. I remember I was watching like a CTV thing where like they were just answering like questions that people had sent in. And one of the questions was which vaccine am I going to take? Or they were asking like a public official which vaccine she's going to take. And she was like, oh, she's not too sure yet. And she's like, tell people don't worry about the vaccine you're taking. And I'm like, bitch, you don't get to tell me not to worry about the vaccine I'm taking. I'm going to take the one you're taking, bitch. Like, don't. Yeah. So that's how I see it.
That's weird that there's like a bunch of different ones. Because I don't know why they did that.
Because everyone had like all these different offices, right? All the different labs were commissioned at the same time. Be like, yo, we need a vaccine now.
Right.
So they all started at the same time. And then it's all, if your vaccine comes out, you're gonna make bank, right?
Do you have to pay for it, or is it just gonna be given to people? I'm assuming it's gonna be just given.
It's gonna be given to people, but I'm assuming like the government is going to pay the company that's manufacturing it, right?
Gotcha. Okay.
A lot of money, and then the government gives it to the people for free.
Okay.
Yeah, the companies that are creating and distributing this vaccine are definitely going to be billionaires by the end of this. Like,
yeah, dude. Yeah, I'm probably going to be one of those guys that's going to take it. I'm ready to start life, man. I'm ready to really kickstart a new positive life. Like the next 5 years got to be fire, right? So. That's going to be a very important moment, and by the time when everyone does have it, it's just going to be such a nice feeling just to like be in a room with people and not have to worry about it, and no mask, and just you can actually like go out and meet women, and
people will have it in their Tinder profiles.
Yeah, vaccinated.
Like, yo, my name is so. I love to play basketball. COVID-19 vaccinated.
That's important.
And you'd be like, there'll be girls trying to make a decision. Like, yo, I only got 2 swipes left. This guy's hotter, but this guy got vaccinated. So I could see that being a thing. Like I said, like Lupe had said when it first got announced there were going to be vaccines, that like when he's doing shows, you're going to have to prove at the door that you've been vaccinated.
It's fair. I'd say that's fair.
And so, yeah, I can see that. I can see that being a thing. I think I'm just being skeptical because it's still early. Sure, like it's January. Once we hit March, then it would have been 3 months of people getting vaccinated. So then by that point, I would know if there's any way shit happening. It doesn't look like we are going to be getting the vaccines till like fall.
Fuck.
Like the way it's looking with the distribution, they're saying like they're running out of supply in Ontario and whatnot. So that's why, like, even right now, the lockdown was supposed to be done on the 15th, I think. They pushed it to the 21st, which was 3 days ago, and now it's just indefinite. But yeah, now it's just indefinite. So they don't even know. They are doctors are saying like numbers are going down, like cases are going down. But I guess just keep the restrictions pretty aggressive until the last man is fucking vaccinated or cured or whatever. The thing is, like in New Zealand, I saw this past week they had like the first like outside like festival thing since like COVID started. The first like music concert. I don't know if you saw this. It looked like there were like 5,000 people in a crowd outside. I forgot what that looked like. Like all of them were like chanting. They weren't wearing masks. It was like shit. So yeah, and I think that's just proof that New Zealand is just proof that if we just have a really, really, really strict lockdown and maintain it, then we're gonna come out of it, right? Because yeah, literally no cases. They are having concerts, but life is back to normal for them. So yeah, I think that yeah, we just need to wait it out until we can get this vaccine and get the fucking vaccine, guys. Yeah, I've definitely spoken to some people who are like, yeah, I don't think COVID-19 is a concern for me. I'm not scared of COVID-19. I'm not going to get the vaccine. And to those people, I tell you, please stop being foolish. Get the vaccine.
Well, dude, that's what we were talking about this before the pod, but like there's cases of people that get the virus and they don't die, but they have these serious side effects where like they can't even smell anymore. You want that? I don't want that. I'm trying to smell.
Yeah, man. I don't know. There are also some people who are scared of needles. I'm not gonna lie. I'm scared of needles. It's not a fear of needles because like I got a flu vaccine not too long ago. I'm always getting poked, but yeah, I don't like to get poked. You know what I mean? Like it's definitely like it's always been a thing since I was a kid. You know what I mean? Like if I was really, really sick, like shaking, I'm like, yo, I don't know if I'm gonna make it. And the doctor says, yo, this injection is gonna help you out. I'm recovered. That's how much I fucking hated needles, man. In Nigeria, too, it wasn't like here. The doctors are so patient with you. They're gonna, you see when I've taken my brother to go get an injection before. They're patient with him. They'll watch him, like they'll wait for him to calm down. They'll make him count hold. You know what I mean? Like in Nigeria's like, nah, man, we got a lineup of people.
Yeah.
To fucking inject.
Hurry the fuck up.
Exactly. Like, yo, the fucking doctor doesn't have any patience for your kid. Like, so yeah, man. I literally have had the needle broken in my arm because it was just like I was struggling as well. But dude wasn't being patient with me. And so the needle broke in my arm. They had to use like tweezers to pull out the needle and then poke me in my other arm. I hate tweezers. I hate fucking injections, man. Is the whole point of everything I'm saying here. But I will take this fucking injection if it means life will return back to normal. And so that's what I'm saying. I think there might just be some people like that as well who are they're saying it. They're saying they don't want to take the vaccine under the guise of COVID-19 is not a real issue to me. Or, I've been fine this long, but really it's they're not trying to get injected. They don't want that shit. I know that feeling all too well, but yeah, suck it up, guys. Suck it up, guys, because yeah, not being able to smell is pretty fucked up.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. Sick. That's national news. So on to local.
On to our local news, and we're just going to talk about mental health. Mental health in these times. So we're on our second lockdown here. Obviously, we can't meet up for a lot of the social norms that we would usually meet up for. Life is just strange, life is just different. And so just checking on people's mental health, because obviously that's so important. How's your mental health, man?
It's definitely wavering. Near Christmas time was really tough. It was just like the thing is, before COVID hit, we had purpose. We had like a lot of purpose in our lives, where we were doing shows every month. We had these albums in the works. We had all this stuff going on, and life was just moving in a direction of like, wow, this is about to be crazy. And then it happened, and then things had to change. And so at first it was kind of nice having that time to just work on your craft, or having that time to just do your thing, read, play video games, whatever. But then eventually it kind of gets to you where you're like, damn, we're social creatures, and it sucks. It sucks. And it's like, you see, like, I see people at work, but it's like, they're still my coworkers. Like, these aren't my friends. These are people I just work with. So it's not the same. And yeah, dude, I pretty much don't fuck with anyone. So it's
imagine explaining that to one of your coworkers. Like, we're just coworkers. You're not my friend.
Dude, that's how I feel.
It's just the way you said it right now.
I'm cold-hearted. I am. No, I've definitely grown numb to people's feelings sometimes, and I think that's kind of a good and a bad thing. But man, I had this conversation recently, and it was definitely eye-opening, and I wanted to bring it up today because I haven't really talked about it with anyone. My dad gave me a call a couple days ago, and he was basically telling me how he was asking me how life is, and I told him, I'm like, Calgary's kind of looking, it's pretty grim. Like, I go on the train, everyone seems fucking unbelievably depressed. Like, work has been really slow, cutting my hours, and it's just like, it's kind of crappy. And then I told him, I'm like, hey, but there's like something in the works where we're thinking about getting a studio. It'll be a really big step for us, and it's going to allow us to actually make money eventually, just doing what we love, and give us an opportunity to really just have our own business. And it's like, and he just disregarded it completely, and he didn't even like congratulate me. And then he started bringing up my music, and he's like, hey, I heard this when we were at your brother's. Their roommate told us about this song that you made and how the melody was amazing. And I'm just like, in my mind, I'm just like, damn, you couldn't even like listen to the song. And he just had this thing where he was saying like, I believe in you 100%. And I was like, I straight up told him, I was like, I don't believe you. Because I just don't, because the way he was speaking was like, he was trying to convince me how I need to move back and how things aren't working out for me. And he just doesn't know me anymore. You know what I mean? And he's never really known me that well. And so like, he told me, he's like, I know sometimes, because I used to be super, super sensitive, where people would say something and it'd get to me immediately and it'd make me mad. But nowadays I'm just numb to like that kind of stuff. So he said something where he's like, I know like you probably feel a certain way, and I don't want you. And I'm like, no, I feel nothing. I don't even, and that's something I also wanted to say is like, when people look at a situation like ours or what we're doing, they don't see it for what it really is. And we have the opportunity to actually see. When I think back even 3 years ago, 2 years ago, when we first kind of started doing music and all that. It's night and day. It's where we're at now it's not the same. It's not there's so much progression. And it sucks having someone that the one person that you want to say, you know, believing in you doesn't believe in you. But I wanted to share that because it really did suck. And it really was hurtful to hear because he said one thing, but I knew he meant something else. And I think the intentions were very selfish. That's my parents. But the point I'm getting at is it actually is driving me. It actually gave me a sense of, oh, I'm doing the right thing. Because all the stories I've heard of these people that are on the verge of reaching a next level, it's always a common thread where they say people that they look to for guidance were telling them that it's never going to happen. And then things start happening where it's like, it seems like life is almost testing you. And so it actually put a fire in me to be like, you know what? I'm all in. And I'm not gonna quit because someone tells me that what I'm trying to achieve is impossible. I don't see it as something that's impossible. I see it as a reality that's going to be happening very soon. And I didn't feel like that before. I know that was kind of a tangent, but it all coincides with mental health, where I think about where I came from and I think about all the people I've met in my life, and I've met some really shitty people, dude. And I just think about where I'm at right now and like the people that I surround myself with. And it's good to take time and just reflect and understand that where we're at now, the group of guys that we're working with right now, it's such a blessing, you know what I mean? To be in the position that we're in right now. Fuck. And yeah, so yeah, it's definitely been tough, but there's some upside to perseverance. There's everything about it, you know, like just giving your all to something and really committing to something is much more satisfying than just falling back into your old ways and essentially just giving up. And
I feel you, man.
But yeah, how are you been, bro?
I've been good, man. I was gonna just say, man, I feel like the idea I get from your parents or your family is that, you know, hip hop is they're not as connected. I mean, it's one thing to say not connected, but hip hop is still this abstract thing to them. You know what I mean? They know what it is. It was probably a lot more abstract when you were younger, but at this point, like, you know, I'm sure, I know your dad probably doesn't listen to any hip hop, but he's aware of the influence hip hop has in the world. You know what I mean? So I feel like to them, it's probably still abstract, right? It's probably still, you know, I feel like your conversations are about, yo, this music thing is about to start making us money pretty soon here, you know, and to them, it's like they probably can't be like, how, you know, they can't, you know, they never have lived a music life, you know what I mean? They never, how would I put it? Because I feel like it's the same thing with my parents to some degree, like they do understand, but both my parents did go to university and they did go get a graduate degree afterwards, and they worked in the corporate world up until this point in their life, right? So even when I first, you know, brought up the idea like, oh, I'm not going to do school anymore, I'm just going to do music, it was, I remember the resistance from them it wasn't because they didn't support me, it was mainly because they just didn't know any better. You know what I mean? Not that they didn't know any better. It's like they're also from Nigeria. You know, they literally, this is the first time they were raising a kid in Canada. And I guess just where they're from, it's like that's the system. You know what I mean? Like so that you can grow up and have a successful life. You know, it's, you know, university, get that degree, get a job, like a long-term job, like a corporation, you know, gives you good benefits and whatnot, and then begin your life from there, right? And so this path of hip hop that we're both on, I've said it to you before, man, it's a scary path, right? And I think that's what it is to parents, really, is that it's still very abstract to them. You know what I mean? Like, we all know who Drake is. You know what I mean? We all know how big Drake is. We all, you know, Donald Trump went out of his way to, I think, like they said, there literally was a budget allocated to trying to get rappers to support his campaign, from Ice Cube to Lil Wayne to Lil Pimp. You know what I mean? Like, the world, you know what I mean? Like, even if you don't listen to hip hop, the influence that hip hop has is apparent in the world. You know what I mean? So I think both our parents know that, but what it is like what in your situation, it's like when you're talking to them about, all right, this next move we're about to make is getting us closer to the goal. It's still just abstract to them. You know what I mean? It's not. It's not a conversation of, yo, I'm about to write this paper and it's gonna get me into this program that's gonna allow me to get this dream job. You know what I mean? It's not a. I feel like sometimes I have decent conversations with my parents, but sometimes I feel like that's where I'm losing my dad, is like when I'm talking about the goals or the milestones that we're trying to get to. And I can see he understands like why I need to get to that milestone, but at the same time, I can see that it's, you know, in his mind, it's, maybe he can see, he sympathizes with the idea that, man, this is going to be hard for him. And same thing, I know he says he believes me, but I know it's his lack of understanding of of hip hop, the abstractness of what we're trying to do, that makes it so that even though I can hear what he's saying, sometimes I feel like he might not mean it, and it's not even because he doesn't want to support me. It's just he just doesn't understand it. You know, he has his own doubts. You know, and that, I feel like that might be what it is with your dad as well, right? Like, you know, he's your dad. He does support you. You know, even if you're hearing that and you feel like you know, that's not what he means. He does support you. It just comes down to he doubts. You know what I mean? Like, he doesn't. If your dad had the full knowledge of hip hop that you have, you know what I mean, then the conversations you have would be, you know, he would be able to say, I support you, with more conviction, because he would understand, all right, the studio is the next step to this, right? I hope you see where I'm coming from, man. I feel like I'm just going in circles.
No, I know exactly. I can hear you. I understand.
But yeah, so it's just motivation for us, right, to just keep pushing. I was gonna say, man, my mental health has been pretty good. I definitely had a period in just early December where I was just like, yo, fuck all this, fuck music. Not fuck music, but just fuck. What is the point? You know, what is the point? I came into 2020 like, yo, all I have to do is just follow the blueprint and we should be fine. And then I was like getting into the end of 2020 with like, just feels like the year did not go as planned. You know, it just feels like I'm not any closer to this goal of mine. It's just a real, it's just easy to get, to fall into a hole of negative thinking. You know what I mean? That's all it is. That's to me, that's the difference between a good day and a bad day that I'm having, is that, you know, today there's nothing really weighing me down or this, you know what I mean? Like, I just feel like we're going to do it. And then there's days where I'm having my doubts, and those doubts manifest into like full brick walls that are like, I don't even know if I can make it past, right? Yeah, I think it's just about pushing through, you know, pushing through and believing. Yeah, like for me, when I was having that period I wasn't showing up to meetings either. It just helped me, like, you know, it helped me to talk to people, right? It helped me to talk to you, helped me to you know, show up to the meeting. Just get out of my own head was really all it was at the end of the day. And that's easier said than done in these times because of lockdown, because of quarantine, because of, you know, just the overall restrictions. You know, you can't just say, hey, I'm gonna hit up the bar or I'm gonna pull up to the homie's house to clear my mind. None of those are options anymore. So it is just about being aware, you know. I think a lot of mental health is about being conscious of yourself, like able to being able to be like, I'm depressed, not even that I'm not feeling like myself right now, and accounting it to something, you know what I mean, and knowing that it's something else that's happening. It's not just the situation you're in or whatnot, you know what I mean. As artists, it's so easy for us to get depressed, man. It's so easy for us to be like, so we're not on yet, you know. It's so easy to be like, is that ever gonna happen? And I think that's why what we're doing is so important, man. I still read Think and Grow Rich every day, man. I emphasize the mastermind, the power of the mastermind, which is just that even if you don't believe in yourself, it even says it in the book, like even if you're not as confident in yourself, or you know, you don't have the resources, whatever it might be, you allying yourself with people who are trying to get to the same place as you guys will compensate, you know, for each other. Is like, if this person doesn't have the belief, this other person's belief will compensate. You know, if this person doesn't have the drive, you know what I mean? And you're not part of a brain that completes itself so you can get to that goal. So I 100% believe in being, being conscious of your own mental situation and trying to get out of your head to prevent yourself from, going into a dark place. And I'm also a full advocate of, if you have a goal, find like-minded people, right? Because it's when you're having those periods where you don't know what's going to keep you going, having those conversations with other people that are like-minded, that, want to get to the same place as you, is going to keep you motivated. It's going to remind you why you can't be fucking demotivated. Another thing is, like, when you're a part of a team, it also helps you to be like, I can't, even though I'm depressed today, I can't allow myself to be depressed, because, like, it's not just about me. You know what I mean? Like, and you being a part of a unit overall will just help your mental health. So I guess my mental health has been good, and I'm just bringing this up because, like, these are the things I found to be helpful for me. Definitely talking with my crew, definitely talking with the people I'm trying to make it with, and talking with myself, just being able to take inventory of my own mind and being like, this is what's not making me happy. This is what I need to improve. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we hope everyone that's listening is taking care of themselves, both physically, mentally, and spiritually. It's not going to be much longer, this pandemic will die in 2021 if we just stick together and keep pushing.
All right.
Do you want to add anything to that?
No.
Cool.
Well, one thing,
yeah.
I'll say, it helps when you smile. So if you see someone and, like, it's nice making other people feel good. So, like, when I'm at work, bro, and I see someone not smiling, I'm like, it makes me mad. And I'm like, yo, wear them teeth. Show me those teeth. And they always smile, because it's really random to say to somebody. So you just be a joy, because life is too short. But thank you, bro. I really appreciate. You're a very good friend, man. And I appreciate everything that's happening. And I really do believe in this. And there's always those times, like you said, man. And I love that you said that, where it's, some days I'm feeling not so great, and then I text Dawson, and he puts me back in a state of, okay, I gotta work, I gotta drive. There's a drive. Or Matt, or you, or Jared, like, and so, yeah, it is a people need people. And yeah.
So yeah, I guess it's just because there's a lockdown going on that's indefinite, just because there's restrictions stopping you from going to go see people, it doesn't mean that being social should end, right? Like, because as we pointed out here, you know, there are mental health benefits, you know, to maintaining relationships, right? And just not being alone all the time, right? So yeah, that concludes our local. Onto our artist motivation, which is really tied into what we were just talking about. So the book I've been reading is called Extreme Ownership. I'm listening to it on Audible. It's not a sponsor, but if you guys want to hook us up,
maybe one day.
But yeah, Audible has been dope as fuck. I'm reading this book a lot faster than I would be reading it if someone wasn't reading it to me. Like, so that's like the benefit of it. But yeah, in the second chapter, it talks about believe. And so the book is written by Navy SEALs, two Navy SEALs in particular, Jocko Willink and Naif Babbitt, who were part of one of the units that were stationed in Iraq during the Ramadi fight, kind of like late early 2000s, I would say. Anyways, long story short, it's a book on leadership, and it's just about, you know, the principles that make a good leader on the battlefield, and that translates to being a good leader in any walk of life, you know, whether it's sports or business or whatever it may be. And so this chapter is called Believe, and in the chapter it begins with him describing a situation where he was on the ground in Iraq, and upper management gave him a direct order that they're going to have to be, you know, their team is going to have to start working with like Iraqi soldiers to fight the insurgency, the terrorists in the city. And basically, immediately he got that. He was like, what the fuck? You know what I mean? The Iraqi soldiers they want the same thing that they want, which is to get rid of the insurgency. But at the same time, they can't be trusted, right? It's like two opposing, you know, guys. Like the issues they've had situations in the past where like Iraqi soldiers have like shot at American soldiers, you know, and now you're telling us that we should go onto the battlefield with them. How can we trust this person to watch our back? You know what I mean? And so basically, as the leader who had received that briefing, he had to go relay that information to his team and tell his team, like, all right, we're going to be working with all these guys now. He already knew how they were going to take it. And long story short, he had to really sit down with himself and understand why upper management wanted him to do this. And it's because, like, the insurgency are like the Al-Qaeda, like the terrorists, right, that are terrorizing the city. And the Americans were there to secure, like, make the city a safer place. Though the insurgency is like, you know, they have religious beliefs, and they're recruiting people from the city every day. It grows every day. So the point upper management was making was that if we just keep fighting, if the American soldiers just kept fighting them by themselves, they'll be fighting till the end of time. Like their children's children would have to be fighting in Iraq. Whereas if they fought alongside the Iraqi soldiers, they would be training them, like they would be giving them on-the-job training, and it would reach a point where the Iraqi forces are competent enough to secure their city by themselves. So all the American soldiers will return back to America, and the Iraqi soldiers are now competent enough to defeat the insurgency. Anyway, so that was the thought process behind it. And so he understood, okay, why upper management wants them to fight with Iraqi. So he had to explain it to his team as well. And when he first brought it up with his team, obviously they were like, fuck that, we don't want to fight with these guys, blah, blah, blah. And then he had to explain to them, this is why they want us to do it. Do you want your children's children to be fighting in Iraq? They're all like, all right, no. And once they were able to wrap their head around, you know, the situation, why they had to do it, they were able to join forces with the Iraqi soldiers and, you know, defeat the insurgency, at least for the most part. It's a lot more secure. The insurgency is still there, but it's a lot more secure than it was. Anyways, the long story short there, the chapter is called Believe because as a leader, you have to believe in the mission. You have to believe in the mission wholeheartedly. You know, at the end of the day, like, if he was unable to believe in the mission, he would not have been able to convince his subordinates to believe in the mission. And then overall, it would have just been a failed mission, right? So the starting point of succeeding in any mission is believing that you can succeed in any mission. And I think this relates very well to music, like we were just talking about, because this music endeavor is scary. It's a very scary endeavor. You know, there's a possibility it doesn't work out. It's a possibility we're just wasting time. And the takeaway that I took from that is that as a leader, and we're all leaders, you know, even if everyone on the team is a leader, right? Because everyone's actions and decisions lead to the success of the team, right? So as a leader, you have to believe in the mission wholeheartedly, you know, or else, and if you take it to a war analogy, if you have a guy who doesn't believe in the mission, when the pressure gets hard on the battlefield, he's gonna drop his gun and run. And you don't want someone like that on your fucking team. And I see that the same way in music, right? Like, I don't want anyone on our team that once the pressure comes, they're gonna be like, I don't want this anymore. You know what I mean? So that's the starting point of getting to the end, is you have to want it. You have to want it so bad that whatever oppositions that come, you know, you're mentally prepared to deal with it. And yeah, I really am enjoying this book. It's a really good book. I recommend it to anyone to check out. It's a lot of like war stories in addition to like real life principles inside. But yeah, that's the takeaway from this. As musicians, we have to believe in this goal of ours. We have to believe in this dream. Whenever you start to doubt your dream, that is the beginning of your failure. You have to believe in it wholeheartedly. And you brought up Kanye earlier, and you brought up how like Kanye has this fearlessness to him. And definitely you can see that now, and you can see that in the beginning of Kanye's career as well, right? That whole just being like, man, every record label had said no to him. Even Rockefeller had said no to him. You know what I mean? And he still kept pushing. You know, he believed in his dream. He believed he was the greatest producer until it was a fact, you know? And that's the takeaway from today's artist motivation, is you got to believe in the dream.
Damn, it's a fire podcast today.
Word. Yeah, that feels very serious today. Like, yeah, it is what it is.
That was a really good one, man. That was really good.
Yeah, so you want to take us away with the conclusion?
Let's do this. This has been episode 31 of Just Kicking It, presented by Lifted Ones. I'm going to do this, and one day it'll catch on. I just put up my finger, my left hand, in the shape of an L sideways, and I don't know. We said we're going to be Rockefeller. I'm trying to just do that. Yeah.
It should be like a thing you hold up in the... No, I think one is fine. I don't know.
I don't know.
It over time.
No, that's dumb.
Now you're holding up an L and an O, bro. That's the winning team.
Major loss. No. Thank you guys for listening. This has been a really great episode. I hope you guys enjoyed it. It was more serious than more fun. And yeah, it's better to just say what you feel and be feeling better about yourself than being afraid to say anything at all. But yeah, this has been episode 31. Thank you guys for listening. You can follow us on social media. I'm at The Only True Soy. Shosho, what's your... Poliano_DA_Don. Word. And make sure you follow us at our Lifted Ones group. That's Lifted_Ones. And follow the blog. That's YYC Hip Hop Daily for all your daily hip hop news for local MCs. And thank you for everyone that's being supportive and is behind this, and they can see the vision. I think people are starting to really recognize that things are actually picking up a bit. So I really appreciate everyone whoever got to the end of this podcast. You're the realist, and thank you so much. But yeah, this has been episode 31 of Just Kicking It. See you guys next week. Peace out.
Peace.